Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, can there be bonhomie on the boundary when there's blood on our borders? Why should India engage with a country that bleeds its brains and then spins lies on international stage? Tonight, we debate if India can unite or sever all ties with Pakistan. But first, let's take a look at the top headlines as we go on to the big debate tonight. Boycott Pak. The blood of Pulwama martyrs is on Pakistan's hands. It's time for India to unite and boycott all ties with terrorism. Commerce, culture and cricket need to come to an end.
ये जो जंग की बात है ये अनपढ़ और गवार लोग कर सकते हैं.
Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti stoops to a new law, insults families demanding justice for martyrs, says those seeking revenge are unpar gamar. Saudi only pays lip service to India's case against Pakistani terror, refuses to name and shame ISI puppet Imran Khan. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the most heartening story of the day. Young Kashmiris stand with India, debunk the alienation theory by queuing up in huge numbers to join the forces. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these Kashmiris who are being pointed at in many parts of the country today stand up and say they can stand with the army, they can actually lay down their lives for the country. That's the feeling that we need to salute.
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my viewers tonight, on the case, I want to show you how tokenist condemnations and punishments meted out to Pakistan to end India-Pakistan relations wants a real deal. The Newshour would like to recommend some hard-hitting diplomatic moves that will choke Pakistan. While the MFN, the most favoured nation status removal from the borders is actually tokenism, we want the government to recall the Indian ambassador to Pakistan and send back the Pakistani ambassador here in India. Punishing Pakistan by raising import duty just won't be enough. It's time India freezes complete trade ties and cripples Pakistan's economy at the cost of a few Indian businessmen. And there's no way India should agree to engage with Pakistan on a cricket field. The Indian government should without delay order the forfeiture of India's clash with Pakistan in the World Cup that's forthcoming in June. And time has come for India to ban all Pakistanis from entering our country. There should be a blanket visa ban for any Pakistani visitor, let alone just a few who come for health reasons. And finally, the cultural ties should be completely stopped. When you have Pakistani artists celebrating Imran Khan's open threats, they have no business to earn their livelihood from Indian sources. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the case that I present to you, and I would like your views on the news hour tonight. Those numbers are flashing on your screen. Pick up the phone and call me if you feel strongly about this campaign, Boycott Pak. And ladies and gentlemen, my legitimate question on the news hour tonight: isn't it high time for a complete boycott Pak call? Where do you stand on this? That's the big debate, and that's the hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, Boycott Pak. That's coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Nalin Kohli, lawyer and national spokesperson of the BJP, joins me live on the Newshour. Ashok Pandit, director and Kashmiri activist. Atul Vasan, former cricketer. Dr. Dinesh Varshney, leader of the CPI. Nishant Verma, political analyst. Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And my first question on the standpoint, where Charu Sharma, sports commentator, takes on Atul Vasan. And Charu Sharma, I want to ask you, when our braves are dying on the border, do you think anybody in India is in the mood to be on the pitch with the Pakistanis, even if sportsmanship is something that we've talked about on many fora? But Charu Sharma, there has to be a time for it, and it can't be done over the dead bodies of our soldiers and their wailing children and families, you know, their cries ringing in our ears. Can you actually play cricket with them?
Well, you make a very compelling case, Navika, and let me begin by saying, of course, like millions of people in our country and globally, our sincerest condolences to the families of the martyrs. And of course, let us condemn terrorism once and for all and all the time anyway, because it's just so needless and stupid. But as far as I hear your call about a total boycott of everything Pakistani, why just the ambassadors, for instance? Why not shut the missions? And of course, in every other possible way, have no contact with them. For instance, why sit with Pakistan at the UN or at the International Court at Hague or wherever else? Wherever there's a Pakistan presence, should India pull back? Because we're talking about a total boycott here. And how does it hurt Pakistan for India to not play cricket with them? It hurts them when they come to India or plan to come to India, because that's some revenue for the Pakistan Cricket Board. That to be banned can hurt them. If India were to go to Pakistan and that were to be banned, that can hurt them. But at a neutral venue in England, at the matter of a once-in-a-4-year World Cup, is there a consideration also possible where India can actually go there, beat them, and carry on with their World Cup march, rather than give 2 points away and have some other Pakistanis claim that India were too afraid to play them or whatever else? Would it not be advantageous to actually play them and beat them and get the 2 points? Is just something that I'd like to present. But of course, the sentiments are you know, it's a very tough situation right now, and our hearts first go out to the families of the martyrs.
Well, Charu Sharma, you know, you try to put out the fact that you know, it is actually because we sit with them on the United Nations high table, we sit with them in the World Bank, we sit with them in IMF. So therefore, cricket is also something that should be business as usual. Atul Vasan, you agree with it? You agree with it? Can you actually recall the tears of Nikita Kaul, whose husband, Major Vibhuti Dhondiyal, was shot down just 2 days ago? Can you actually forget those pictures? Can you forget that this lady had been married for just 10 months and she had to say goodbye to her husband because it was the line of fire that he was caught in was from Pakistani terrorists like Kamran? Can we forget these pictures? How can we look our Indian brothers and sisters in the eye if we actually go out and play cricket out there, Atul Vasan?
Yeah, it's gut-wrenching, you know, how you paint it. But let me just say, you know, whatever gives pleasure or revenue or maybe a thrill or some kind of validity to anything that Pakistan does globally, we should not be part of it. I was, for the longest time, believed that cricket should carry on. You know, in fact, in 1999, when we were at full-fledged war with them, we played against them in the World Cup match, you know. And then in 1996, we gave them MFN, which took 24 years for the Indian government to take it back. Wasn't 99 Kargil enough? Was 2001 Parliament attack enough? Then Uri, then Pathankot, then a Mumbai attack. It took them 24 years to take MFN back. It was tokenism, symbolism. But every time we start having a debate about this, cricket is made the #1 reason, and I think rightly so. I mean, have you heard a single tweet or a statement from any of the Pakistani greats against condemning these terrorists? Because their houses will be torched. They know that. So everybody has to stand behind this huge monster of Jaish-e-Mohammed, LET, and everybody in Pakistan, even inwardly they are supportive, cannot come out. And that is why we want to condemn them. So cricket gives them some kind of validity, take it away. If we lose 2 points, It's not about having these 2 points as Charu puts it. Even if we don't win in World Cup, doesn't matter, because there are bigger things in life than just winning on the game.
Well, very important. There is bigger objectives in life rather than just winning a World Cup, rather than just getting the 2 points that you would forfeit if you were to walk out of a match against Pakistan. So let me get in and let me open up this debate. And Ghanshyam Tiwari, I want to ask you, should we be playing cricket in June? Should we be getting the Pakistani artists, people like Ali Zafar, who actually cry, you know, in complete hypocrisy, but clap when Imran Khan makes a speech threatening India and doesn't have a word of condolence for the families of the 40 brave hearts who lost their lives in the Pulwama attack? I mean, should we be carrying out as business as usual? World Cup हमें जीतना है, 2 point नहीं देना है, और Ali Zafar आके गाना ही तो गा रहा है. What's the big deal?
Well, as opposition, we have said that we stand for a comprehensive response to Pakistan by Government of India, and we stand behind the Prime Minister for that comprehensive response. At the same time, we are shocked, belittled, disappointed in the warm hug the Prime Minister gave to Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. We are shocked at the deafening silence of Indian government with respect to China, where we have $63 billion of deficit. Two countries who aid Pakistan financially, and that aid helps to strengthen Pakistan military, which eventually strengthens the terrorists. So the shocking hug, the complete deafening silence on China is something that we want to question this government on.
Well, Mr. Nalin Kohli, clearly time has come for you to recognize the sentiment of this country. MFN status removal is mere tokenism, and that's what this country feels. So, you should have removed the MFN status way back, or at least when Uri happened, to actually stop at just the MFN status being removed is pure tokenism. Are we going to see any strict action?
Well, I mean, certainly the Prime Minister has said it, and then you've heard him speak at multiple occasions. When the Prime Minister is saying that my heart also feels the pain and the anger and says we will pay with a heavy price, that's all we need to hear. The rest of it is certainly not going to be in public domain. Was Uri and the return of it in terms of the surgical strike, was that in public domain? It shouldn't be. It's for those who are capable of taking the decisions and implementing it, which means the political leadership, and then thereafter the armed forces, whose leadership makes it possible with the bravery of the soldiers. What has to be done, how it has to be done, that won't be discussed in public domain. If it is discussed in public domain, or if you, me, anyone else knows, then there's something seriously wrong.
So you're saying visas should be given to shooters?
The second part,
you're saying that cricket should continue to be played? You're saying that visas should be given to artists to come and earn their livelihood at a time when they abuse India and eulogize Imran Khan? All that should continue at a time when this country is seething with anger and this country can't get over the tears of the families of our martyrs. Mr. Nalin Kohli, it's not business as usual.
And you have not responded to the two simple questions I asked.
Well,
in that,
Navika, you missed it
Nalin, just one quick sentence. You have not answered the points that I made just now.
You're shooting in the wrong direction, that's all I can say. So 1 minute, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, unless you want to take my name, sir.
No, I'm saying
Navika,
that
you got it completely
you can
wrong.
go,
I don't know
go
how
off
you arrived
tangent,
at that
but you have to respond to a debate
that cricket should continue,
why is the government showing a deafening silence on China? You have given
you guys, it's impossible to debate with because you are used to an akhada. You guys have all your life been in akhadas and fought wrestlers. So therefore you all believe that everything has to be a wrestling match. Go ahead and speak, yaar. I'm not going to drop myself to becoming a Samajwadi Party spokesperson and interrupt others. Finish what you have to say. I'll say after that.
All right, one at a time. Let me come in. Okay.
My final statement is you must respond on the hug, because in that one hug you have
we will ask you to respond to both of your questions.
The values that India stands for and the sentiments that are prevailing in the country.
We'll get Nalin Kohli to answer to those questions specifically and on what action India will take.
It's a big word. Values is a big word. It doesn't come when you
the
interrupt
Prime Minister
another person
has
on the
belittled
same
the
panel.
values that India stands for.
Big
in the
words you
warm
will use,
hug given to the
constitution,
Crown
values.
Prince of Saudi
You
Arabia,
don't even know
and
what
you
you
must
stand for,
explain why.
values, constitution. क्या आप मजाक वाली बातें करते हैं आप लोग टीवी पे?
Mr. Nalin Kohli, I mean, you may think
Values.
it's
Yes, madam.
unimportant, but if the opposition raises a few questions, I think
No, it's
the
very
owners,
important, and I agree with you. That's the point, Navika ji. I completely agree with the point you're saying. There is great merit in the argument that's being put forth by all the people. Our soldiers are being brutally murdered. It's absolutely a fraud being paid by the Pakistani Prime Minister to come and say that we need to have more comments and we should have some kind of proof. How much proof does this nation, most government after government, people after people in India have given that kind of, if I may say, decency to Pakistan to say, okay, let's give peace another chance. Let's give the new Prime Minister another chance. Let's give the next person another chance. Let's give them the proof of 26/11.
So, Mr. Nalin Kohli, why don't you respond to the call of the people when they say stop visas, stop cricket matches? Where do you stand on that? Why don't you take a position?
Is not going to take these things lightly.
People are now in no mood for lectures, Mr. Nalin Kohli. What's the action?
Wait. And I'm sure, have faith. Yesterday, didn't you hear General Denlo on the channels? Haven't you heard the other officers of the different security agencies speak? Have faith in your soldiers, have faith in your government.
Have faith in your soldiers and have faith in the government. Nishant Verma.
क्या मजाक करते हैं आप लोग टीवी में बैठ के, और कोहली साहब क्या मजाक करते हैं आप लोग सरकार में बैठ के। ये वही आदमी है जो कहता था लव लेटर लिखना बंद करना चाहिए, देश की वो सरकार ही सेंटर में नहीं होनी चाहिए जो आर्मी को प्रोटेक्ट नहीं कर सकती। And he was not the prime minister at that point in time. India gave him a chance, India gave you people a chance to prove that everybody else is wrong and you people are right as nationalists. I was shocked when Atul Vasan was saying, I think he needs to be educated that Kargil was not a war, we never fought as two countries. हम घुसपैठियों को मार रहे थे। इतना अज्ञानता फैला रखी है बीजेपी ने कि एक नाम दे दिया वॉर, और ये भी नहीं बताया कि उस समय राजस्थान बॉर्डर, पंजाब बॉर्डर, गुजरात बॉर्डर पे क्यों नहीं लड़ रहे थे, क्योंकि इट वाज नॉट अ वॉर। हैविंग सेड दैट, हम हमेशा परेशान होते हैं, हम मतलब हम हमेशा परेशान होते हैं when there is a big attack like Pulwama, Mumbai. But do we know that in Kashmir every single day there is a battle between the insurgents, terrorists and my army men? What has the government done in these 5 years? Absolutely nothing.
My army?
People are shooting in Corbett for
It's
Discovery channels on the days when this happens, and they do not stand up in the evening and they say, please sir, you have, and now you're talking about ban. You're talking about ban. It was your government in 2017 when the tensions were raised and this North Gujarat tomato producers, they were crying because 1 रुपए में टमाटर नहीं बेच पा रहे थे।
How do you define war? How do you define war?
Please stop it.
Kargil was not a war.
You don't even know the definition of war.
That Kargil was not a war. We lost soldiers.
You don't even know the definition of war.
Attack on Pulwama.
We lose soldiers every day, and your howling doesn't matter. What has the government done in 5 years? What has the government done in 5 years? जिस आधार पे आप सरकार बनाए थे कि हम ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे, आज जब इलेक्शन आया तब आप रो रहे हो बिकॉज आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते। यू आर अ कंप्लीट फेलियर मिस्टर बीजेपी। अशोक पंडित, आपको तो इस्तेमाल किया गया है, कश्मीरियों को तो आज भी इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, इसलिए आपकी व्यथा मैं समझता हूँ, बट दैट इज नॉट व्हाट यू आर सपोज्ड टू डू। यू आर सपोज्ड टू कैच होल्ड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ नॉट बीइंग एबल टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम, and what you are doing here is only crying. Please don't be a BJP stooge. Be an Indian first. Okay? Be an Indian first.
What do you mean, Mr. Nishant Verma? Are you trying to say that you are the certification authority on who is an Indian?
crying.
Are you the certification authority on who's an Indian? The BJP is not an Indian. Ashok Pandit is not an Indian. What are you? आपने ठेका ले रखा है. सिर्फ आप इंडियन है. जो रोज जहर उगलते हैं वो इंडियन है.
Women weeping. You should be ashamed of yourself,
अदनान
Mr.
सामी
Nishant
को
Verma.
सिटीजनशिप क्यों दी
You have
थी
been
पूछिए.
protecting
क्योंकि
Pakistan.
अदनान सामी ने पोजीशन ली, उन्होंने पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ बोला और इंडिया को समझा, इसीलिए अदनान सामी को सिटीजनशिप मिली. मिस्टर नलिन कोहली, आई थिंक मिस्टर निशांत वर्मा हैज सम डाउट्स अबाउट द कारगिल वॉर. ही हैज डाउट्स अबाउट व्हाई अदनान सामी वाज गिवन सिटीजनशिप. Why don't you explain to Mr. Nishant Verma why both these actions are, you know, and what he is saying is completely wrong.
Mr. Nishant Verma, the day, Mr. Nishant Verma, the day the bullet will come towards you, it will point you, the gun will point you, your language will change.
अशोक पंडित साहब, आपके चिल्लाने से हकीकत नहीं बदलेगी.
Ashok ji, may I just also, Navika ji raised an important point and I am grateful for the opportunity because I heard Mr. Nishant Verma refer to Kargil as not a war. So now we have to wait for multiple things. He is the certifying, Ashok ji please, Ashok ji, if I may just make the point, Nishant ji has chosen to be a certification authority of who is a good Indian. So therefore he is the certification authority of who is a bad Indian. He is also a certification authority to what constitutes a war.
That is the
I don't think he's ever picked up a gun or stood in the army or done even a single drill.
That is the job
but
of
he's
BJP.
an expert on saying this is a war and that is not a war. Third is he calls the army his personal product. Then he starts interrupting again.
So
when he was speaking all
Indian,
rubbish, I heard it through because I had the decency to believe in the Constitution of India, which allows for another person's view to be articulated.
Okay,
Mr. Verma, absolutely I'll say it on your face. When you were speaking rubbish, I had no problem listening to it because the Constitution gives you a right to articulate your point. But you have no respect for the Constitution when you interrupt me. You have no respect for any institution, Mr. Verma, when you interrupt me. You have no decency also because I heard all the rubbish you had to say. You don't even wish to hear my counter argument.
Any institution, you are not the authority of any institution, Mr.
No respect
Kohli.
for institution, we won't learn from you, sir. You consider the army to be your personal property. My army was doing this. The gentleman who died yesterday, the 40 other soldiers who died the other day, are they your personal property? Go try telling this to their family. Go try telling their children that you are treating them as their personal property. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you treat an army soldier with that kind of absolute lack of dignity, as if they are your personal property? How dare you?
Look at the entire nation crying and you're defining war.
Ashok ji,
Look at those visuals, Mr. Nishant Verma.
आपके चिल्लाने से हकीकत नहीं बदलती.
आप कैसे इंसान हैं निशांत वर्मा जी कि आपका दिल रौंदा नहीं जाता ऐसे तस्वीरें देखकर आपने दर्द महसूस किया है. ये देखिए आंसू देखिए. ये फैमिली वाले हैं मार्टर्स के. ये माँ है, कोई बहन है, कोई बीवी है, कोई बच्चा है. एक सोल्जर की बच्ची तो 22 दिन की थी. निशांत वर्मा, आप कह रहे हैं ये वॉर नहीं है, ये वॉर नहीं है. Well, I have two callers joining me on the phone line. SK Sharma joining me from Patiala and Minakshi joining me from Hyderabad. Mr. SK Sharma, where do you stand? Do you think we should continue to play cricket? We should continue to only abuse our own people rather than, looking at what action we can take against Pakistan?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sharma.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Beta, I am SK Sharma from Patiala.
Yes, sir.
I am 67-year-old and my wife is sitting with me. First of all, let us salute to all our sons who have lost their lives.
Yes, we salute. Yes, we salute, Mr. Sharma.
And secondly, respected anchor, cricket is no big thing.
Okay.
Nation comes first.
Okay.
For how long we shall keep on condemning the things? When shall we see the action?
Very valid question, Mr. S.K. Sharma. Nilakshi also joining me from Hyderabad. Yes, Nilakshi, what's your point?
Ma'am, good evening, madam. First of all, my respect to all the martyr families. One question, madam. Nishant Verma, sir, with all respect to him, he is screaming against the government now for hugging the Saudi Arabian prince. But Navjot Singh Sidhu openly hugged the Pakistani army chief and the Pakistani prime minister. He even called him a farishta. They do not have a problem with the Navjot Singh
Very
Sidhu
valid point, and I'll get that point across to Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari.
No.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, respond to Nilakshi.
Nilakshi, you have a very valid question, and I respect it. And we stand against any hugging of the enemy, be it Mr. Bajwa or be it somebody who supports openly Pakistan and the military of Pakistan. So it is valid question to ask as an opposition who stands behind the Prime Minister, that what was the urgency to break the protocol. Mr. Nalin Kohli, as spokesperson of BJP, completely selectively unheard that question. What was the urgency to break the protocol and hug the royal prince?
A country that did not condemn Navjot Singh Sidhu and Nishant Verma.
That one hug, the Prime Minister belittled every value India stands for.
Nishant Verma, what about Navjot Singh Sidhu's hug with Bajwa Sahab? What about Navjot Singh Sidhu's hug with Bajwa Sahab? Nishant Verma, you must have got time to think about it. The country is outraged. The country is outraged. Nilakshi from Hyderabad is outraged about Navjot Singh Sidhu's hug with Bajwa and the way he's been batting for Imran Khan.
Yes. With full respect to Meenakshi ji's question, and thank you for asking the question, I equally condemn Mr. Modi doing hand in hand in Lahore with Nawaz. If Navjot Singh Sidhu is to be condemned, I do that. And today's hysterical laughs of Mr. Modi along with Saudi Arabian prince. All three things could either be condemned or accepted. Now it depends on the viewer and the electorate and the Indians to either accept all the three or condemn all the three. I am nobody to judge it.
You suffer from a disease called Modi phobia. You are suffering from a disease called Modi phobia. आपको मोदी के अलावा दिखाई नहीं देता, आपको औरतों को दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, आपको जवानों की लाश
और आपको मोदी में हो गया है, वो डायबिटीज को मधुमेह कहते हैं, लेकिन आपको मोदी में हो गया है,
आपको सिर्फ मोदी दिख रहा है,
आपको मोदी में समझते हैं ना,
मोदी फोबिया है ना,
आपको मोदी में दिखते हैं, आपको मोदी के सिवाय कुछ नहीं दिखता है.
Charu Sharma and Atul Vasan once again, and Charu Sharma, you heard Mr. S.K. Sharma, the 67-year-old man who says, what's the big deal about cricket? Why should cricket be our top priority? कि हम cricket खेलेंगे कि नहीं? Whether we'll get 2 points or not? Whether we should walk out of an international ICC commitment or not? It's not a big deal in the, you know, when it's compared with the kind of losses that this country is suffering, Mr. Charu Sharma. I understand where your sports love comes from, but there has to be a perspective and there has to be a sense of proportionality in our minds. Are we putting cricket against our martyrs?
Madam, I fully believe and understand that it's not a big thing. But I mean, perhaps you didn't listen to what I said earlier, that when it comes to bilateral series, yes, you can put a stop to that. But, you know, this whole call of a complete boycott, if it is a complete boycott, every single contact with any Pakistani anywhere to not happen, well, I mean, that seems a little impractical, but if it's possible, yeah, please go right ahead. I'm just saying, at neutral venues, at a World Cup situation, you might want to actually utilize the situation and maybe beat Pakistan as you always have in the World Cup, and I suppose get some sort of rejoicing out of it.
On a neutral location, Mr. Atul Vasan, does a Pakistani team cease to be a Pakistani team?
I'm not saying it must happen, I'm saying if it
does at a neutral venue,
this is
Pakistan cease to be Pakistan?
Charu, beating Pakistan is not a surety. Please, beating Pakistan not a surety. Let's not even go there.
I know.
First of all, let me tell you, I don't know ये सज्जन कौन है, निशांत वर्मा जी, ये इस क्रिकेट की बात को इन्होंने बीजेपी कांग्रेस बना दिया और शायद हिस्ट्री इनको मेरे से ज्यादा आती है। पर 71 वॉर में जब बांग्लादेश रिलीज कराया था तब राजस्थान में फाइट नहीं हो रहा था, पर उसको कहते थे कि 1971 का वॉर है और बॉर्डर हमेशा टाइट रहते हैं। तो और ये कह रहे हैं माई आर्मी, हमारी आर्मी नहीं है, इनकी घर की आर्मी है। तो ये सारी बातें नहीं करनी चाहिए वो दूसरे के बारे में। दूसरी बात है कि अगर इंडिया को नहीं भी खेलना है क्रिकेट और इंडिया को सोचने को नुकसान होगा, नुकसान नहीं होगा क्योंकि इंडिया ने एमपीए साइन नहीं किया हुआ। तो आईसीसी ऑल्सो कैन नॉट पीनलाइज, दे कांट टेक इंडिया टू कोर्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द नॉन फंक्शन ऑफ बीसीसीआई। हमारे को एक रास्ता मिल गया है कि हम एब्सटेन कर सकते हैं विदाउट एनी प्यूनिटिव डैमेज। So let's bring the debate back to the point that should we have contact with Pakistan, not bring it out to BJP Congress, please, for once.
Absolutely. On an issue emotive as this one, shouldn't we all be standing on the same page?
So
and Dinesh Vashne, I'm coming across to you, but let me get in two of our... Okay, Charu wants to rebut Atul Vasan. Yes, Mr. Charu.
If it's a total boycott, fine. Let's not have a selective boycott.
Of course. We are talking about a total boycott, trade, cultural ties, visas, sports, everything.
Let's do what is right.
Sandeep and Anshuman joining me, two callers. Sandeep from Hyderabad, Anshuman from Pune. Yes, Sandeep, what's your point?
Yeah, good evening, madam. This is Sandeep from Hyderabad.
Yes, reduce the volume of your television set.
Yeah, already I am on mute, madam.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to support this time to boycott Pakistan for everything. I just wanted to know why you people call people like Nishant Verma, Ghanshyam Trivedi and all these who are traitors for India, madam. They doesn't always speak only bad about our country. I don't know what credentials you see in Nishant Verma, and he comes and talks on the TV every time all nonsense things about India and our army. First of all, it is your fault, madam, you call such kind of people on the show. First of all, you should ban these kind of people also calling on the show, madam.
All right, boycott. Thank you for your perspective, but actually it's a democracy and we try to give every side a chance to speak. And Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Mr. Sandeep, with all due respect, you do not have the certificate to say who's patriot, who's traitor. My father served the Indian Air Force. I have lived in the Air Force camps and I serve the country in many ways beyond politics. So please keep your language and your mindset in check as you speak on national TV. As far as the questions that we raise, you have seen that this government has not answered. Throughout this debate, there's a deafening silence from Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of BJP, on the way the Royal Prince of Saudi Arabia was received, why the warm hug, and why there's a deafening silence on China.
We have to look at on the table. Why is China? Why obfuscate?
Who's supporting
I actually want to speak on this.
All right, let me get in.
I want to speak on this.
Let me get in Anshuman, who's standing by on the phone line before Nalin responds. Anshuman?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to express my opinion. I am a sports lover, being an Indian. But first, I am a person who loves my soldiers because they are the one who make me breathe the air that I breathe. And I feel that we should not play a match against Pakistan in the World Cup. And Mr. Charu Sharma was saying, you know, we lose 2 points, whatever, we get to the final, then what? Even if we get to the final and we have to Pakistan, we should forfeit that match. Is the World Cup more important than the lives of the soldiers who are dying every day? I feel it is ridiculous that somebody even comes up with the suggestion that, you know, we should play against Pakistan, any sport, anything at this point of time. At least at this point of time, I feel we should completely boycott Pakistan, and sports being such a big, cricket being such a big...
I agree with you, Anshuman, because clearly our army, our soldiers are above cricket. Murthy calling in from Mumbai. Yes, Mr. Murthy.
Yeah, good evening all of you. Just now I was hearing to Mr. Sandeep from Hyderabad, and I totally agree with what Mr. Sandeep had said. These critics, whosoever I am regularly watching, they always criticize whatever Modi government is doing it. They are a disgrace to the nation. And Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari has taken
it's a democracy and all points of views are allowed and freedom of expression is a given under the constitution, and your point is also taken on board, Mr. Murthy, because it's a democracy, people have a right to express what they feel, and both Ghanshyam Tiwari as well as Nishant Verma have the right to express. You may or may not agree with them. Thank you, Mr. Murthy, for joining me. But Mr. Dinesh Varshney and Nalin Kohli, let's get them both on the screen. And Dinesh Varshney, I want to ask
there is
you,
always a flip
is
side
there
also.
a Modi phobia? Are we only criticizing Modi for the sake of Modi, bashing? Or do you have a point? When it comes to issue of Pakistan, at least then can our political parties unite and take a united stand? In the consensus statement by the parliamentary committee, you couldn't even name Pakistan. How do you expect the world to take a tough position on Pakistan?
Look, Navika, in the joint parliamentary committee meeting, all of them were united and the entire India was one, other than Modi ji, who was inaugurating a train 18, leaving the meeting behind. And the government was unprepared, was not informed all in detail to the parliamentary committee meeting. Therefore, it was decided there that a broader political parties meeting will be held later on. Entire India stands united as far as sacrifice of our CRPF personnel is concerned, and we hope the government of India will look after their families well, will restore their old pension, will give them the martyr status. At the same time, we also request the government of India to see to it that Kashmir is a political problem. It is not only a question of land, it is also the people of Kashmir. They are the people of India, and the government of India should stop attacking the Kashmiri students throughout India, especially in the Jammu and other regions of the country. Number three, that Pakistan should be isolated diplomatically, but definitely
he calls himself a
hugging
professor.
a crown prince of Saudi Arabia by bypassing the protocols is definitely not good.
Well,
it is
Mr.
not
Nalin
in good
Kohli,
taste. He should
Mr.
have avoided
Nalin
this.
Kohli, they are
At
more
least
worried
at this
about
juncture, before
MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. They're not worried about Pakistan. They're worried about the hug, the breaking of protocol. Respond to them, Mr. Nalin Kohli.
Mr. Dinesh Varshney, the problem with you communists that you people...
Mr. Varshney was pleased now.
All right. You know, I'm running out of time, Mr. Ashok Pandit. I give the last word to Nalin Kohli.
Yes, Navika ji, I want to say,
and
Navika ji, it amazes me and I get petrified about the future of our country when you hear people like Professor Varshney, who's supposed to be a professor teaching students, talking things like this on TV. Kashmir is like that, hugging the Saudi prince, interrupting another person when he's speaking. When he was speaking, I heard him out. Article 19 applies only to them to speak all the verbal diarrhea that they have, which is absolutely disgraceful. And did wherever they were in Yemen,
well, they have a problem with Modi meeting, breaking protocol and meeting Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi prince. But the question is, ladies and gentlemen, not one word against Pakistan, not even in the joint parliamentary committee. Ladies and gentlemen, if the Prime Minister is actually meeting Mohammed bin Salman to try and push across two countries in the Middle East the fact that they need to take a position on Pakistan, should he be doing it or not? Should our political parties be colored on their opinion on Pakistan and divert from the issue, or should there be one unanimous call on boycott Pakistan? Where do you stand on it? Because boycott Pakistan is something that every Indian today is overcome with the sentiment. At a time when we salute our braves and our heart goes out to those families who've lost their loved ones because they laid down their lives to protect this country, to protect you and me. For them, ladies and gentlemen, can our parties, can all dissenting voices come together with one call, boycott Pak? Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. Debate number 2 coming up on the other side.